Hello, this is Adam Began, and I'm the host of Historically Haunted Show, where I talk about some very rare historical and haunted locations that I visited. I also interview some of the very best in the paranormal and cryptozoology field. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paranormal King Radio Network. And prepare to be educated about the unknown. Hey, good afternoon, or good evening, I should say. My name is Adam. I am a first-timer here. This is my first show, time on the show, as many of you know. I am the host of Historically Haunted Show. I'm also the lead investigator, co-founder, and historian researcher for Historically Haunted Paranormal. And my pleasure to bring you my first guest ever, someone who's really near and dear to my heart, Heather Caminiti. Heather hails from southern Maine, Portland, Maine, actually, which is Maine's first capital and Maine's biggest city. Heather grew up more or less into a haunted house. We'll get to that later. She's always been in touch with her clairvoyant side and her spiritual side. She's an empath, and she's embraced that recently. She's also a master herbalist in training. If those of you don't know, we'll talk about that later on too. She's also a psychic in training for Historically Haunted Paranormal, which is my team. She's also my girlfriend of 4 years. Halloween would have been 4 years. I didn't make a post yet about it, but Halloween, I'm sorry, Friday the 13th in October. Is that right, dear?
That is correct.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Heather Caminiti. Heather, how are you tonight?
I'm great. Thank you so much. This is really exciting. The first show, we get to try to figure this all out together, and I love it. Yeah. So thank you for everybody who's on right now, because you're a part of this amazing first time thing. It's so cool. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. We have some people in the chat room. If you guys want, there are links on my page, Heather's page, and of course, Paranormal King Radio Network with Ross or Sparrow. There are links, on my page as well, Historically Haunted Show and Historically Haunted Paranormal. So you can tune into that. There's a chat room. You guys can talk. You guys can't call in. You can call in to listen, but you can definitely chat it up a little bit. And if you get any questions, I'll ask Heather and all that good stuff. Hi, Nicole. Nicole, you can hear me? Awesome. I was on Nicole's show Wednesday. And Heather, you're going to be on Nicole's show. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. Next Wednesday, I'll be on her show. I'm excited for that.
What time is that?
That will be, I know it's 10 p.m. Eastern time, so that's going to be 7 p.m. the other side, California time.
Yeah, that's where she's from. Nicole just said hi, Heather. She put yay, that's awesome. We have George watching. George says hi to everyone. Of course, King's watching. Nicole looks forward to it. So as many people know, I guess it's funny, a lot of people say this. To me, and I guess Heather can agree to this. We kind of came out of nowhere. It's almost like we were just born last year, I guess, so to speak. Is that fair to say, Heather? You think?
I think so. I think that's fair to say for sure. You're so much better, like putting it in words. Like you have a lot of strengths and courage like I don't have when it comes to like lifting yourself up and stuff, and I love that, and I love that about you. And I'm all like, I don't know what we're doing, and you're always there to say, baby, we're doing a good job, and that really helps me. So you're really good at explaining, and I like that. So thank you for that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you know, you kind of lower my ADHD slash I don't know what you want to call it. I forget what my psychiatrist said I have, but you kind of lower that instead of focusing on the negative and the bad. Like today, I got in a car accident again after 3 cars and you've been through the ringer as well. You were with me when my mom died, and unfortunately, I wasn't with you when your mom passed on Halloween. That was a year before we met. But we've both been through adversity. You've surgeries, you've been through, divorces, all that stuff. So I think we both gel, and yeah, I think as most people know that meet us, I mean, we're not intimidating. I know it seems like we are, I guess, but we're not. We just like to do stuff, and
well, we're really loud. We get really excited and we'll get really loud. And so that kind of makes people maybe a little uncomfortable.
yeah, and I think we like I remember when we went to Hillview Manor, one of the guys like, is Adam going to be crazy again tonight? And it's not that I'm crazy, but I'm excited, I'm passionate. Okay, we get some questions. Yeah. That's right. This is my first time. I'm a virgin, so Betsy says hi.
Hi, Betsy.
Bruce Hartley has a great question to either one of us, more or less. It says, why is the area of your country so haunted?
Oh, you are going to be perfect for this question. I can feel why. You're going to be able to talk and say those words.
Well, I know, but you're my guest, so when when I offer you a beer, you drink it. So
okay.
I'll go after you. I'll interrupt you.
The land where we're at, it's New England, and state of Maine is a lot of rock, and it's just the land's just itself is alive. It's beautiful, and there's a lot of energy here, right by the ocean, lot of rivers, and where you have all that energy, and you've had all these years and years of different generations, different settlements, all that stuff coming through that land, you're going to have crossovers of hauntings, or even just paranormal experiences. They can be all kinds of different things, from anything residual just hanging there to you're feeling something that happened in that area, but just not in that time frame. You're seeing something like 300 years ago from there. You're just feeling it, and a lot of people
Right.
will think like, oh my gosh, my stomach, like my stomach's getting upset. I don't feel good all of a sudden. And when you start to realize that that's your body saying something's going on,
Right. And I think you
all
could
that
attest
stuff.
to that. If I could just cut in, I think you could attest to that. You don't have to even be really psychic to know that.
Mm-hmm.
The old saying is, if you trust your body, if you trust your instincts, like as you said, this land is old. When you look at Europe, where a lot of stuff started, that's still 1200, 1300, even Scotland, AD, that's still standing. You look at New England, which of course where everybody settled, but you look at that, it's the closest to that, with Oak Island, New Brunswick, Maine, Massachusetts is the closest. So there's proof of Vikings, Abenaki Indians, Vikings, different settlers. So a lot of that energy, I mean, the Appalachian Trail runs through Maine. So there's a lot of energy, good and bad, as you were stating, through even cryptozoology, everything from water beasts to mermaids to UFOs to USOs. So I love a lot of times we go to the coast. What do you say your favorite part of Maine is as far as coastline goes?
The coastline. I'm obsessed with. There's a spot in southern Maine that I'm obsessed with on the coast, and that's Camp Ellis. And to maybe the average person, it doesn't really. No, maybe it's not spectacular like a picture would be. I love it there. I feel like that there was just a lot of stuff that went down on there. A lot of stuff went down there. We have seen some very cool things, you and I, including the light during multiple visits there, not just a one-time thing. And,
well, I know what you're talking about, but can you explain what the so-called light is? We get some more questions. Don't have to hurry up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the light just
real quick. Bruce Hartley, thank you for the question about the haunted area. He put, thank you, Adam and Heather. He put great answer. So, Bruce, thank you for listening, and thank you for the question, and thank you for the respect. Go ahead, Heather. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries at all. So the light, if you could imagine seeing like a sparkler kind of going off, like a morning glory sparkler, all these different little light flares, that's what we saw under the water. And it was always in a different length, maybe it would last 3 seconds and then fade. Maybe it would be really long and then fade, and we could never figure it out. It was always, sometimes it was at night, sometimes it was during the day, sometimes there was boats there, sometimes there wasn't. I swear there's something.
I guess how I can put it is, to people listening, if you put a flashlight in a dark room, say there's a lot of fog, and the light really illuminates almost more than the light is, that's what it was like, but underwater. And me and Heather would try to decipher if it was the moonlight, the reflection of the lighthouse, which is way, way far away. And it was not. It was almost like someone was underwater, like a scuba diver. I have a video of it somewhere. And that was right on the bay. And that's, of course, Saco River, which comes from...
That comes from Saco Lake in New Hampshire.
God, I love this woman.
It's quite a long river. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I really want to actually start. I want to go to there. I want to go to the beginning of the...
I'm getting drunk on YouTube, on inner tubes.
Yeah, we should do that. I want to go to the lake, and I just kind of want to follow the roads that would take it down. Would it take a long time? Yeah. But you know what? That's what our ancestors did, and I just want to feel it. I just want to do it. I want to see what they would have seen. You know,
you can pay money. You can pay money, and they will pick you up and give you a raft and drop you off and pick you up after. And you can drink right in the river and then float right down the Saco River, right towards the Biddeford Pool, which of course is part of like, I guess, I don't know, not Casco Bay, but more or less Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so we're falling behind. We got a lot of listeners today. That's killer. What a great first show. Does anyone in your family support you guys in the field? Question from Nicole.
I will go first. I don't really know what my family truly thinks, because I think they've always just accepted me as being the eccentric, weirdo girl. When it comes to the paranormal stuff, now when it comes to my witch stuff, all my aunts and my cousins, they're right on it, because it's all in us. It's in my entire line.
I was going to say, a lot of your aunts are,
we're a very powerful, you know, in what way we just love. We're a very loving, messed up, dysfunctional family, but we have so much love for the world, and you know, it's a powerful love. So we have that going on. So they support that stuff, and the other stuff, as long as I'm not doing anything disrespectful or dangerous, you know.
I wouldn't say they get it. Like, your sister's a little off put. She's obviously totally freaked that you met Annabelle, the real Annabelle.
She thinks I'm nuts.
And your brother's a little off. Your brother doesn't even know who Ed fucking Gein is. But at the same time, like your daughter, Tia, your beautiful daughter, your oldest daughter, 27, Tia.
No, she's my mini. She's my mini me. She's amazing.
And we brought her to Salem. She loves Salem. That's Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, she's my crypto girl. She's really into the crypto.
We're getting over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Ross just put, Nicole, save some of your questions for the show. We love you, Nicole.
She's awesome. I can't wait.
I had a blast on your show Wednesday night. For those of you who don't know, I was a guest on Nicole's show, Haunted Real Connections on Paranormal King. Ross has been great giving me the show. I was a guest on his show, and he immediately said, "Hey, I want you to have your own show." And I said, "Well, I'm going to have Heather. I might even have Heather be my co-host eventually, but I want to test it out." I have, I think it's Tyron or Tyra. Shoot, I have her next week. Keeper, I think is her last name. She's from Gettysburg, but I have her next week. But anyway, let's see. So real quick, wow, great history. So proud to hear you through my speakers. Johnny is Johnny Lowell. He's a member of our group. He hasn't really done anything with us. He's a busy man. He owns a restaurant that it's a haunted restaurant in Portland. But when I was a tour guide last year, real quick, a Portland, Maine haunted walk, we did a tour, and he was impressed, gave me a nice tip, and told me his bar was haunted from this girl named Betsy. And he's a real good dude. He's kind of on our team, more or less. He's been busy, but we love him like a brother, and he's right on there.
Yes. Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Yes, you said great show, so that's great. Let me go back, because I'm getting way behind on questions. This is a lot harder than I thought.
Keep in mind, guys, this is literally the first time, so hang in there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
As far as me, because the questions to both of us, my family support me in the field. My mom did, rest her soul. She died 2 years ago. She was about me when I sang in a heavy metal band, Killing the Herd. She was at every show. My dad, he supports me to an extent. Like, he listens to it. He's an older Frenchman, so he's kind of confused by it. But I love him.
And on that, note, you really, it's hard when you feel like the people that you love and trust the most don't support you when you have an interest in the paranormal. But keep looking into it. Keep looking into whatever you guys want to do. Even if you don't have that support.
Yeah, I think Heather can agree. We both definitely get a lot more support. People go, Facebook sucks. I go, well, Facebook got me a radio show. Facebook got me into Hillview Manor for free. when I went to Pennsylvania on a road trip because I know Sue on Facebook and she gave me a private tour for free. So I've met a lot of cool people. There's a lot of Betsy. There's a lot of people I consider
amazing.
Ross. I met Ross through this. He gave me the radio show. I think, and I love my sisters and I love my family, but honestly, I don't have cousins that give a shit about me. And I think Heather knows that. She's not really big with families for the most part. Yeah, my sisters they do, but like they know I do my stuff, but they don't really share it. They don't really promote it. They don't even really follow it. They both got families and kids, so they do their own thing. I get it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I had a brother that did this shit, I'd be all about it. But I don't need to look at it like that way because I don't need to set standards. And I think Heather and me have both worked on that, and that's why we've opened up the Facebook. Me and Heather have been going out and exploring since 2017. We got chased out of a graveyard.
Yeah, that was like within the first month of us meeting. If we're getting chased out of a graveyard, we're like, where's the next one?
Yeah. So I mean, our first date was Friday the 13th. Mm-hmm. On Friday the 13th in October, we went to go see the movie Friday the 13th in an old drive-in. You know what I mean? And we hit it from there. I mean. So real quick, let me see. So hi, Betsy, blah, blah, blah. Let me see. It's kind of hard to keep up with everything because I was like, let me see. You all took a while with my family to accept my Billy. So let me see. So I had to ask you. Oh, Billy's interview, Betsy, Matt. Look forward to this. Hi, Matt. Great answer. I'm sorry. I'm reading like I'm not actually on the line right now. It's funny. I'm totally a rookie. Let me see. Are the Salem witch locations mostly gone now? Melissa Keene puts.
Oh, okay. So the Salem witch locations. Are you thinking like? I'm sure she's thinking of like the original, like where they were hung. I would think where they. I can tell you that where they were hung is still there.
So contrary to a popular belief, excuse me, I'm having a beer and eating popcorn, which is probably wrong.
Friday night, babe.
Contrary to popular belief, they weren't burned in Salem like they were in England. They were hung.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, they were burned. They weren't.
Yeah. So there's that's a very powerful location to go to. I don't know. Some things you just can't put into words, but standing there is it's very sad, very heavy.
With Salem, there's where they were hung. Where they were hung is Gallows Hill, but it wasn't on top like everybody thinks. It was right in back of the Walgreens if you do the research. I brought Heather there. Heather went a lot before I met her. She didn't go to the historical side. I don't mean that in a bad way, but she didn't go to Danvers and stuff, and I didn't go either. So we went. Danvers, Massachusetts is originally Salem Parsonage, Salem Village, and that's where the first what's Tituba, and I mean this, I don't mean this to be racist, but she was black. She was like a voodoo girl. She was the slave for the family of the parsonage in Salem Village, which is Danvers. That parsonage. That's
probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Even though it's not Salem, it is still Salem because it was Salem before Salem split.
All day.
Yeah, that's my favorite spot to go. Yeah, absolutely. I love going there, and it's
just the rocks. It's just the rocks foundation. There's two foundations where the basements were, and it's rocks. There's not houses, and it's fenced off. There's plaques, and there's a little memorial. There's a little part where the church first was, and then there's a Rebecca Nurse homestead from 1682, and she's buried out back along with another witch from the trial. So Danvers is killer. Salem's got the original witch house from 1636 that Judge Corlin was in. They have the Josh Ward house that was built on top of the sheriff's house where he was buried in the basement. So absolutely. Plus, not to mention the pirate stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Salem is a must-see visit, and I could say that all day. I love it there. I love it there.
Where's your bucket list to go and or spend the night?
To spend the night in Salem, the first and foremost one that I could legally spend the night in would be the Hawthorne Hotel.
Absolutely.
I was able to walk around it one day because we were down there, and we're like, well, let's just go in, even though we didn't have a wedding.
We went in like we're part of the wedding. We went in the elevator.
I mean, I'm right outside the doors. I've never walked through those doors. I'm like, I gotta go in. I gotta see it, and it did not disappoint. I felt like I just walked into a whole other time era. It's amazing. It's so amazing. So I want to stay there, and then I would love to spend the overnight in the witch house. I really would. Could that ever happen? I don't know, but I'm asking the universe to give it to me at some point.
I tell you what, man, who knows?
Give me an overnight there.
Like I said on one of my shows, I will literally spend the night anywhere. If I'm allowed to legally, I will spend the night there alone or with Heather. Anywhere, in a morgue, in a basement. We spent the night. Where's? I'm sorry, this isn't my. It is my show.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Where's your therapist? Where's your therapist? Spend the night, Heather.
The most amazing place I've ever spent the night was in the Lizzie Borden house. And
God, I love you, Lizzie. God,
you
I
know,
love her.
for everyone that had a chance to do that in the past, I'm sure you're so grateful because it's an experience. It's an amazing experience. I don't know what everyone else's was, but I can tell you a little bit about mine.
What happened? Did you go by yourself?
I'll tell. I did not go with myself. I went with you, baby love. You and I went.
I know, but everybody else canceled.
That's right. So let me tell you, like everything was lined up in this whole trip to just pretty much, like, you know how you watch a movie and you're like, oh, you're on your honeymoon. Here's a free upgrade. Oh, yeah, you're doing this. Here's a free upgrade. From the time we got ready to leave, and we were anxious and excited as hell, we get to the rental car place, which was at the airport. I had a booking. Come to find out, because I'm not flying out, we were driving, I couldn't rent the car. So we're like,
the airport. That's right.
We're like, oh my God, we can't go to Lizzie Borden because of this. Oh my God. So what we did is we just jumped on our Googler, jumped on our phone, and we went to another car rental service and told him the story about where we were going. He was so intrigued. And this is not an exaggeration joke. He was so intrigued.
Oh no.
We got a rental car for at least $100 less than we were going to pay. But it was, what kind of car was it? Was that a Cadillac? No, it was something close nice. Though.
Like that time we got upgraded and we went to go see Annabelle, but that's another story.
Yeah, it was like an SUV type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get this car and, oh my God, where was I going? Oh yeah, everything with the Lizzie Borden house. So we get this car and we go down there and we check in.
Well, first we stopped at H.P. Lovecraft's house and gravesite.
That was the day we did that. You're better at remember. Yeah, that's right. That was a busy weekend.
Historical Society first because our room check-in wasn't until 2 because they gave tours.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The Historical Society, which is in an old manor. Remember the curtains were down to the ground, like 10 feet on the ground, and they go the longer the curtains, the more money you were worth. I go, what a dumb fucking thing to waste your money on.
I know, but that's so funny that like if your curtains literally hung to the ground and onto the floor collecting dust, you were rich. I mean, so clearly, like, whatever.
Killer dirty curtains, king.
Yeah, but it was that building was awesome, and it was so amazing to see that the history on that. And then we did go to H.P. Lovecraft's.
Well, that was before in Providence, and we came over to Fall River, which is right across from Providence. When we come in, the way the GPS brought us.
That's right.
And we went by Battleship Cove, where the USS Massachusetts is, and then we went to the Historical Society where the axes from the murder trials and the girl and the guy. I was telling that guy so much information on Lizzie Borden. He goes, "You deserve it." He goes, "We don't allow pictures." He goes, "Take one. You deserve it." I get that picture. Remember that?
Yes, that was beautiful.
And then we went to the house, and yes, Ross was saying that's where the murders happened. Yeah, we actually had reserved the murder room, which is the Uncle John Morris room. That's where the stepmother was killed.
We wanted that room.
We had that room. I got a picture of me posing in the same spot. They have crime scenes all throughout. They have blood. They have the direct picture of her when she was killed. I stayed in the position of it. Maybe that's why I got bad luck, I guess. I don't know.
No, see, this is the thing. You don't have bad luck because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to continue on with this story because this is a continuation of how amazing we were meant to be there that night. So we get there and we're told it's you two in the John Morris room, and then there's just another couple we're just waiting to check in. And we're like, all right, cool. And she, the caretaker's talking to us and showing us around a little bit. And then it's starting to get late. She's like, I don't know, well, let's just start the tour, I guess, right? So we're like, okay, because when you stay there, you get a free tour. Yeah, that's included. So
you sign in the guest book. That was fun.
Yeah, so she's going through the whole house and telling us the stories, and it, obviously it's amazing. Now
we do half of it anyway.
Yeah, we did.
For a month. We watched every YouTube video we could on it.
We were obsessed with it. We were so excited. And
but every movie, we got like 8 Lizzie Borden movies on DVD. You do, yeah.
Yeah, so excited. And then she's like, well, the tour's done and they're not here, so it looks like it's just you guys staying by yourself.
Unless you want me to hang around with you, we're like, nope, we're good.
Yes, we're just looking at each other like, are you kidding me? So like just to rent the whole Lizzie Borden house. Now this is at the time, when Leanne was alive and she owned the home. It's different now, but back then, absolutely amazing.
And her cat too.
Mac, yeah. But back then, to rent the whole home, like if you wanted to have the whole house yourself, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. It was over $2,000. Now our room, taxes and everything.
We paid, though. That's not what we paid.
No,
that's what you would pay if you want a whole team in there, right?
Yeah, we paid for just the room itself, like 200 and something and change with taxes and everything.
I think it was like
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I literally, we had the whole house.
We had the whole house to ourselves, and like
we're talking attic. Like if you get a room now, you're not allowed to go in the basement or attic if you get rooms now from the new owners. I guess I don't know.
You're not.
We had, dude. I was out there smoking a joint on the front steps, right across the street is where Aaron Hernandez went to trial, and I'm out there at Lizzie Borden's house. And I'm out there smoking a joint with Heather, and we're relaxing. And then we go inside, and there's documentaries, there's reel-to reels, there's Ouija boards. There's so much stuff. You can watch every single movie documentary about the place. Lizzie's personal book collection, her room, her old room.
When she signed, she put her initials on it. She put her initials on her books.
The best night of my life. I'm almost still alive. I remember calling her from Lizzie's house on my cell phone saying, I'm in a house where 2 murders happened. I sat on the couch. It's obviously redone couch, but it's in the same spot. Heather wouldn't go in the basement with me after 2 a.m. I went in there around 3 a.m. on myself. That's where I caught my orb. But Heather, you did something there for the first time. Let's talk about that. Let's get back on track a little bit.
Yeah, so I did. Oh, I think So
what did you do there for the first time?
So for the first time, I've always wanted, because I've seen people use dowsing rods before, and they've always intrigued me because it's kind of one of the oldest pieces of equipment people use. I mean, and they're still used this day to find, water sources and stuff like that. But it's one of the oldest. It's not electronic. It's, So I start using these dowsing rods, and if anybody's curious what those are, they're kind of, imagine like a long stick, but it has like a little bit of a handle on it at the end. You know what I mean? Basically you're just holding them in your hand, and there's long sticks that come out, and you hold them very lightly, and you relax yourself and kind of relax your senses. And then you just start talking to the spirit. You just start saying, is there anyone here? Do you want to touch the rod for me? And I'm thinking, I've never done this before. And you see it on TV, and some I'm like, that's silly. And some I'm like, wow, that's really cool. But what you do is you just, and I don't know if this is going to work for everyone, but for me, it was so exciting.
It was pretty surreal. I remember recording it. Yeah.
Oh man, I just relaxed myself, and I didn't even say anything out loud. If I did, I don't even remember, honestly. I feel like you weren't even in the room at that time. I'll be perfectly honest. I've got to go back and watch that video. I don't even remember you in there, because what I do remember is this little boy with a haircut with a little bit of bangs, and he was wearing overalls, and he was blonde, and I'm like, is this my imagination? I don't know, but it was just so peaceful. And then I literally saw his finger push the rod, and then I'm watching the rod move, and it's almost like I'm watching this movie.
I remember that.
It was just amazing, and I felt so surreal, and I think I giggled. I don't even know, but it was.
You gotta watch that. It's on my laptop later. Obviously you were. Yeah, I thought it was wicked hot. You're definitely hot doing that. But I mean. But it's true, because that's one of the Native American, like you said, and I'm glad you said that. Yeah. It's a way to find water. It's a way to find minerals and gold, whether it's wood, aluminum, metal, and you use those. And kids, and you didn't really know a lot about it, because you're the type of person, especially being an empath, a psychic, spiritualist, you like to go into these things not knowing a lot. You do your research, but you do it on the way home. I'm the type of guy that does it there. You like to do it to match it up, which is great. And you did that there, not knowing that 3 kids died next door by their mother. Lizzie's aunt killed some kids there.
I had no idea.
You were upstairs playing with them. Oh, Ross sent the flower. said you guys are doing great. Oh, thank you guys, Ross. That's great. And Nicole said you can make coat hangers. You can make coat hangers into dowsing rods. She loves the energy.
That's
Nicole's very
brilliant.
grounded. Yeah, Nicole's also she's very good. She's an artist. She's author, right? Has a book out and stuff. So great support. I'm so glad you guys are chiming in. Dowsing rods were used to find water. Exactly, King. Yep, exactly, Ross. That's funny. Ross actually told me he calls himself the King Paranormal because he loves Stephen King. So
that's so cool.
About all the places we've been for Stephen King in Maine growing up. So far going good. It's the same people. George Cannon, thank you so much for listening. Charles Tanner, Melissa Keene, Nicole King, Matt, Bruce Hartley, Johnny, of course. You guys are all doing awesome. I really appreciate you guys giving us some time. There's some hiccups here, but we'll get better. And I'm hoping you're enjoying the show.
You know what? I love it because you're seeing us as we are. We're definitely not perfect. We're definitely,
no, I know, Heather. You know how we found Madame Cherie's staircase and how we found Betty and Barney Page UFOs, all this stuff. It's not by planning it. We just go out and find it. We just do it. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
I had an agenda, so to speak, and I do get a couple things up my sleeve, but for the most part, we're just being us.
Yeah.
Me and Heather, we shake elbows, and we know, and not trying to brag here, but Tony Sparrow, Judy Sparrow, Chris McKennell, all blood related and family related to the Warrants. Tony's married in, but Chris is the grandson. We went to the house, which was surreal, Heather, the Ed and Lorraine Warrens house with the Warren Occult Museum. Whether you're into the paranormal, which I don't know why you'd be listening to this if you weren't, but even if you're not, these are Ed and Lorraine Warren, and this is their house in Monroe, Connecticut. We got invited personally there by the grandson, Chris McKennell, Judy Warren's son, and we picked him up. He gave me his jacket that he wore to the funeral of Lorraine Warren. I have that still. You can ask Chris, and he friended Heather, and we spent a lot of time there. We went to the gazebo that you saw in The Conjuring 3. We didn't go inside the museum. We have seen Annabelle, though, because the next day we went, Heather, to meet them. We went to Ed and Lorraine's grave site. So we know some people, but we don't brag or boast about it. We don't pay into it. We don't buy into it. And we're ourselves, and we're getting where we are because we're humble and pure. And that's why Heather's getting her radio shows. I didn't give her show because she's my girl. Obviously, that's obviously a no-brainer, but she's getting the show and other shows because she's spectacular. She's up and coming. It is true. You don't give yourself enough credit, but you're a healing, spiritual person. And I think more people are going to realize that now. Some people are going to be jealous. There's going to be haters, but we keep doing what we do, baby. And that's what's up. Let's touch base a little bit on that. I don't want to talk all about me. I want you to have the floor here. We got a half hour to go. We're doing great.
You're just a good talker. That's all, babe. You're a good talker.
Oh, I know, but it's not about me. I want people to hear about you. Let's talk a little bit about the Warren Con, or not the Warren Con quite yet. Let's talk about going to the Warrens and meeting Annabelle 2019.
Okay,
You surprised me. We went. Actually, no, I got those tickets, but you paid Lizzie Borden. That's the thing that's the best about this. People go, wow, to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend be into it. It's usually 50-50. And we're both full stream into it, and we both support each other. Hashtag WITCHEN, hashtag Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter. And that's what we are. And we love it. But talk about Edwin and Lorraine's Warren's house. I know you love Lorraine very much.
I do. I think she's like, I mean, to me, because when I really found out who she is, she was in a later stage of life. So she, to me, reminds me of like what a grandmother should always be like. She's just a spiritual, gorgeous, beautiful. Like, I feel like you just get a hug from her and you feel better. So I admire her a lot. And going to her house, it's like you don't believe you're there. You just don't believe you're there. But I know I'm standing there. I'm like, I'm standing here where she has stood and, thought about times with her family and, by where her beloved pets, she was an animal lover, how much love that she left in the gardens for her animals, and standing there looking at that and, looking at the door that goes into the museum, even though we didn't go in, just thinking of all the people.
Oh, just seeing the sign, huh?
Going in and out. Yeah, going in and out, knowing that, Ed's artwork.
She designed that house. She designed that house. Yeah. That's what Chris told us. And
she designed it, and it was actually the way the setup it was. It's It is different, and I'm curious. It's like, it's a beautiful home. She had a beautiful mind. It was really cool the way the walkway was and stuff like that to go around and all
And
that stuff.
the best part is we left our mark because real quick, it's a little off track, but I don't really give a shit because it's my show and I'll do what I want. I love you, Ross. You know I ain't gonna do wrong. What did your awesome Athena Sky the Bulldog do that left our mark at the Warren Con? Do you want to talk about that?
God. So if anybody knows me on a personal level, knows my bulldog more than they would know probably anybody else in my life, including my children, because my bulldog is like she's my familiar, she's my
Correct.
everything. So she went with us on this trip because I couldn't, she can't go into a kennel. She's not letting Mama leave her. So we're taking her down to Connecticut, and we pull in and we're heading up to go to Chris's place to let him know that we're here. And all of a sudden the horn of our rental car just goes off, like wailing. And there is Athena just standing there in the front seat with her front paws laying on that perfect spot, getting the horn, just looking at us as you start running down there going, oh my God.
60-pound bulldog on the horn of a rental truck.
You guys, this is the Warrens, and this is the Warrens home.
Oh, dead end street, do not trespassing. People looking at me out the window, and
only us, only.
I feel like Lorraine was waving to her through the truck because Lorraine loves it. I really do.
She had to have thought that was adorable. She had to have thought that was so cute.
Shout out to Chris McKennell, Judy Warren, Judy Spera, and that's her name now. She's married. Tony Spera. We have a lot of Lorraine's jewelry and our bracelets. We support Nesper. We just went to the Warren Con where Tony knew us by name.
The first one.
Judy's got a daughter named Heather, so of course she's going to know. It's Chris's sister.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to know Heather and I. Cat's out of the bag, but at Warren Con 2 next year, 2022, me and Heather are going to have a table there with Historically Haunted. I don't know if we should say anything yet, but like I said, whatever. I already get the invite by Nesper, so that's killer. But anyway, let's go back real quick. Dowsing Rods. Yep, you guys are doing awesome. Bruce Bartley. I'm sorry, Bruce. He wants to know if Edgar Allan Poe's grave is on our bucket list. That's a great answer.
Oh, that's an amazing question, and you must have read my mind because yes, 1,000 times yes. I was actually just thinking about that in the last couple of days because I love the lore.
Maryland.
I love it. Yes, I love it. I really want to go. And I want to go to not just the grave, but I want to go where the home is.
Well, that's all in Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I want to map it all out and kind of do a little tour, Oh yes.
There's a statue of him in Boston with some ravens.
Yeah, that I've seen.
We've been to that. Yep.
Yep. But
the house is very haunted. The last bar he drank at is called the Horse You Rode In On Saloon or something. It's like the last saloon he drank at before he was seen at before he died. And that's in Maryland. That's still there. So the history flows, man. I tell you, I can't keep it on my head if I fucking wanted to.
That's a great question. Thank you.
King put that's awesome, Atham, and then he put Adam, so he had his little monkey fingers there. Great show, Adam. Thank you, Matt. Nicole says she's looking forward to her show with you.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
She also says the Warrens rock.
Yes.
Do they sell Lorraine's jewelry and bracelets now or no? Nicole says.
They actually do. If you go to, because it's all the proceeds go to, I know it's an animal charity, but I think it's an actually Lorraine funded. I'll look it up for you actually, and I will get you the links to where you need to go because she's continuing to make them. She makes them all throughout the year. And so you can just buy and have them shipped to you for sure. So I'll get you the link for that.
Yep. It's on Judy Spera, Spera. It's on her personal page if you're friends with her. It's also on Lorraine Warren's page. I'm friends with Lorraine. I was friends with her just before she passed.
And it might be on the Nesper page.
Yeah, I think it's on that too. 100% of the money goes to animal charity. Judy does a lot of work. I understand they do their Hollywood movies, but they're not Ritzy Fitz people. I wouldn't be into that. They're very much into God. They're very much into helping people. And they're very much like me and Heather are.
They're so sweet.
We love this glitz and glamour. Trust me. I love having a radio show, big wig. And I love going live and educating everybody, but it's just a passion and something fun. And I clicked with Ross when I did it. I clicked with Heather. I clicked with Nicole, and yeah, there's no big heads here. I don't need a TV show. It'd be great if we had one, but
Nobody wants to see my mug on TV.
no. Well, yeah, that's not true. You're gorgeous, but
Oh, babe, you're sweet.
the thing is, you have a lot to offer. Like, talk about being an herbalist now. Of course, I live with you, so I have an upper edge. But I know you grow your own lavender, or at least you trim your own lavender. You have mint, you have thyme, you have sage, white sage. What do you do? What do you go into this stuff? Do you start from the bottom? What are your plans and such?
Well, I think there's like an inner part of a lot of us that have that hunter-gatherer aspect still there. And there's something when it comes to plant life. I'm very intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by the uses. And I'm now just starting to want to know more about all the uses that you can have, and uses for protection, uses for antibacterial, all kinds of things. So in that course, I'm learning about how like leaves will be affected when you boil them down as opposed to drying them out. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's like, whoa, what did I get myself into? But I love it. It's definitely something I'm interested to see. I don't know what could happen, because we never know what could happen. I just love to learn. I love to learn.
Absolutely. Charles Tanner says, great show, guys. Matt says he's a face for radio with a funny face. It's funny. I put names. Nicole says, I always wanted to start a garden. Well, it's not so much Heather has a garden. Where we live, it's not really our own. We're going to have our own, as Heather calls it, witch house.
Yes. Put it out in the universe.
Yeah, one day.
With a beautiful garden.
Beds and
I want chickens too.
Moss and mushrooms growing on our fucking shingles on our housetop.
Beautiful trees, fire pit.
Pet ferrets, pet ravens. She's already out there. I swear to God, people, and this is no lie. And of course, Heather won't admit to it or whatever. Heather's very modest. She won't say shit, so I'm here to say it for her. She's out there every day feeding peanuts to crows, ravens, blue jays, squirrels. Heather's the type of girl where she would literally go in the woods naked and go to a beat drum and just plant like food with animals and go around a fire. She's literally a witch, but a good witch. She makes home remedies. She has aloe she makes. Of course, she's half Italian, so she makes probably the best pizza I ever had in my life. She's yet to make me her famous lasagna, though.
No.
She's scared. She thinks I'm a proposed marriage to her. She makes me lasagna.
Yeah. When I'm ready for that, I'll make the lasagna.
Yeah. Let's see. But as far as garden goes, no. She's got plants in every windowsill. She's got some outside. She's just one with nature.
It's hard because where we live, we don't have a very long summer, a lot of long growing season. So you got to kind of pick and choose what we grow and what we have.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Especially in Maine, it's going to be seasonal. We get fucking snow and ice for 6 months. You can't grow too much there, but fucking cold.
Right, but it's beautiful.
We love her, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, Nicole said, I'm sorry. Nicole says we have a dry climate. We got some homework to do. Yes. Bruce Hartley wants to know if and why you got into cryptids, or either of us got into cryptids.
That's a good question. I just feel that it's very naive to think, okay, like when I look at a little tiny caterpillar that we have here on the earth, and we're like, oh, we know this is here. If you really look at that, that's cryptid to me. Look at their how they're set up, their face. There's just, for us to think that we're the only thing plus everything we hear and there's nothing else there that we can't see is very naive and kind of arrogant to think that,
Yep, I agree.
I believe so fully there's things that we just haven't seen yet, because as humans possibly we don't have the certain sense to see them yet. I don't know. That's the thing that we're all trying to find, right?
Right.
Like what is it's interesting to me. A cryptid could be something prehistoric as well.
Well, I think growing up, as you know, too, growing up in Maine, being big Stephen King fans, he grew up in my hometown. Mm-hmm. We got introduced to the Wendigo and werewolves, sleepwalkers, cat transformers, shapeshifters, all this stuff. And then you start to wonder, is this shit based on reality? It's going to be based on something, right? Then you hear the folklore of these things in these woods of Maine and these waters of Maine. Growing up in southern Maine, you must have known about Cassie, the Casco Bay Sea Serpent, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, he, honestly, he nailed Maine lore in his books. He really did. His mind's brilliant when it comes to telling those stories.
Cemetery is the pinnacle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it just, whenever I read his stories, nothing felt I never felt like, oh, this is impossible, this would never happen. So kind of growing up with that mindset, I think it opens you up to thinking cryptids are there as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when people say, oh, that's not real, that's when I like to say, well, I'm going to find out it is.
Yeah, it's hard to prove it doesn't exist, and it does.
It really is, for sure.
Nicole asks, is it hard to plant lavender and or sage?
Sage, definitely not. Sage is pretty hardy here. Lavender, like the greenhouses can grow it beautifully. And just where my location is, our climate will take it, but my location is hard for me. So I purchase grown lavender, and I'll harvest it off the stems that way. So I don't grow it, but I'll harvest it myself. Seeds, or even just, there's so much you can do with lavender. It's so pretty. I made those little bottles.
We saw some at the Paracon.
Yeah, just the smell of them are very calming. It's very nice.
Mm-hmm. As far as I guess people would know. People seem to ask us, and I guess you can agree to this. People ask us how do you guys find the time? How do you guys find these places? What do you guys do? Like we're just fucking genies or something, or we're like super gods that just happen to stumble across road trips. What do you think? What do you think the magic is about, as we call it, left, right, straight? Right? When we come to an intersection, we go left, right, straight. We just keep doing that till we get lost, right?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is telling myself and you telling yourself, we can go do this. We are not doing anything wrong. We're interested. You know what I mean? We're having fun. And a lot of times we'll look up what's in the area, but we keep our eyes really open. We won't sit there on our cell phones while we're driving on an adventure.
Very rare. If we do, Heather, honestly, not to cut you off, but it's because you won't say this stuff and I will. If we go by a place, an old barn, whatever, if it doesn't have a placard, fucking Heather's on fucking Forbes or whatever to see what the listing would be, to see what year it is, how many rooms it is, how much it goes for, how many books. Heather is very, people look at me and go, well, you're very historic, very researching. Well, also, I don't know, either it rubbed off on Heather or she always had it in her. But Heather is one to look up the year, who lived there, when we lived there. We went to Madame Cherie's castle, the staircase, pretty much Vermont border, because we're bored on a Saturday. Instead of going to a bar or sitting at home binge watching Netflix or the fucking same reality show that everybody and their brother watch about The Bachelor and all that bullshit, we go out and do. And in New England, you can't go a mile on a back road without running into a tombstone, a cemetery or a town hall or a meeting house or a church. Am I right, Heather? How many times did we stop on the way to the Devil's Footprint yesterday?
It's amazing. And we have a lot of small towns, and these small towns have a lot of tiny little old downtowns, and they're gorgeous. The history of the towns and just you can just, it's just amazing here. So never think that, oh, there's nothing going on there. There's nothing going on there. No. That's not exciting enough.
Anybody out there that thinks that Maine or New England's got nothing going on, you've fucking never been here, because why do you think people are moving here in mass numbers, pretty much? You can drive a half hour to an hour without one fucking stop sign, let alone red light. I don't know about you, but when I go on a road trip, I want a couple joints, some good tunes, and my camera fully charged so I can stop at every cemetery. That's why I have over 200 shot. You've done a lot with me. You should know. How many dams have we seen? Abandoned houses have we seen? Cemeteries, old meeting homes. Just
so many. And it's I couldn't even tell you. It's a ridiculous amount. If we had to really write it down,
We can't go a day. If we were to go on a day to go yard sailing, which we love to do, that's our little guilty pleasure besides watching wrestling, is probably yard sailing.
We'll always okay, ride time. We'll take a little detour all the time.
Yep. Yep. And next thing you know, it's like, wow, look at this old place. Holy shit, stop. No trespassing sign. That means let's go live. We're at an old fucking abandoned beach house in Kennebunk, Port, Maine, where there was pirates before. I mean, there's so much out there. If you really look and want to look and have the passion, we're not doing anything no one else can't do. Mm-hmm. All it is gas money and enough money for an Italian sandwich and a couple pre-rolled joints for the road trip. Am I right?
I'll tell you what, there's nothing more humbling than coming up on a really gorgeous 3-story antique Victorian house that's just kind of abandoned, and you
forgotten
think those people had it all at one point.
Yeah.
And then here it sits, and it's just the history itself is very humbling, because you know what, it doesn't matter how big you get, you can always come back down. So it's humbling to just appreciate what you have.
Yep.
No matter what.
That's our biggest thing is we like we say, we love the Conjuring House. We love Lizzie Borden. That's our biggest thing. We love Madame Cherie, but there's so many places that are like, what about me? I'm important. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's go.
You cute little abandoned house. Look at you.
Oh, I love it. All right, we got some more questions. We only got 10 minutes left. That fucking was a quick hour. Let's get to it. Are there? We love his books. Thanks. Glad to listen to your show. Thank you, Bruce. We're glad you're a part of it. Check us out every Friday, 8 p.m. Heather will probably be my co-host, honestly, probably sooner than later. But she'll be on her own show next week, and I'll be on my own show here every Friday, barring holiday weekends. Melissa Keene wants to know, any occult groups in your area?
I actually don't know if there is. Do you know if there is?
I know there's the Shiloh people in Durham, Maine, which is Stephen King's hometown. There's a Shiloh church, and there's a graveyard up front. You have to be a member to be buried there. I don't know how occultish they are, but I'm sure for all you know, there's people that in sex occults, child trafficking, drug occults. For all you know, the guy next door to me.
Well, think of it. Like, how would you kind of research something like that? You know what I mean? Like,
that's tough. There's a guy that's from Maine that's going cross country in a van and shit. I wasn't going to call it leader, almost like a Charles Manson wannabe. But not that we know of, Melissa. We're not really into that. We're more historian researchers with ghost hunting on the side, alien research. We have been in Satanic Temple, but we try to stay out of that crazy shit. Nicole says she loves Lavender. Matt says road trips are the best. Damn right, Matt. Nicole, I need a road trip. Fucking right. The road trip with good tunes, good people, and some decent food.
You gotta have the good food. Love road trip food.
Oh, no time limit for sure. Do you guys feel drawn to certain places?
Okay, well, we were drawn to that antique store.
Boy.
And then we're not so drawn to it now.
I talked about that Wednesday.
But you know what? I want to say. I want to say something beautiful. I'm drawn to, and that's the monastery in Kennebunk.
Gorgeous.
That especially. Remember, we were having like one of the worst days after your mom passed. Just like emotional hell days. I don't even know if you remember. You might not even remember, to be honest.
I'll out of it then. Yeah.
We drove down there and we just sat there and
fucking Space Cadet.
Yeah, the way it's set up. Can you explain how it's set up? Like,
well, I remember going, there's a big Virgin Mary or Mother Mary, like a big statue in like this big, I want to say it's like a Colosseum, but it's not quite that. It's one of those amphitheater type things where people would sing, but there's just a bunch of little lamb statues and flowers and money. It's very euphoric. You go on there and I tell you,
very healing.
A lot of good stuff. Nice
trails.
You walk. You go and you get free rosary beads. You get downstairs, you can get holy water and books by the friar, and all that good stuff.
And I'll tell you what, we're not complete odd looking, but we don't look like we're getting ready to go into church, if that makes any sense.
No. To be modest, Heather's got a little bit of dyed hair, a little bit of natural. She got some piercings on her face. She got some tattoos. I got some tattoos. I have some scars from former piercings. I got a beard. So we're kind of not freaky, but we're definitely almost seem like kind of intimidating, maybe. I see that. But I remember
very welcome by that priest though, remember?
Yeah, I remember standing there and this girl came up and I was crying and I was like, this girl put her hand on my shoulder, this older lady, and I said I wasn't worthy. I think she was a sister, maybe a nun. She says, you're worthy, my son.
I'm telling you, the universe gives you what you need at the time you need it. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience for sure.
Absolutely. Charles Tanner, are you guys Zach Baggins fans or Bagans or whatever the fuck?
I don't dislike him, but I'm not. I would say if I was, it was back in the day, but at this point, there's nothing that I really need to sit down and watch. You know, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, never a fan. I got into the Ghost Hunters, but to see him, and it wasn't really so much him, but that guy Aaron, I think the one that always goes, dude, you hear that one? His face gets all big and then provoking, calling people out. I don't like the way they talk to him. I don't like the whole fucking rock star. Like I wear a vest, I could smell his cologne through the TV. You know, the way he touched Annabelle that time. He doesn't talk anything about God. I like the history part of their show, the beginning part. But as far as like, he is what turned every failed rocker into a ghost hunter. Like, I feel like, I know I'm probably gonna get backlash for that, but I don't care. A lot of people that think they're ghost hunters that would run away from the sound of one fucking spirit just want the cross necklace, the fucking faded skulls tattoos, the black shirts with the little vest and the hair spike, and like a couple little ingredients, me and Heather honestly don't use anything but our recorders and cameras, and I've caught more evidence than most people have. We use our senses. Ghosts aren't going to come out when you have a flea circus out there. Am I right, Heather? I mean, in my opinion.
You know, you gotta sit down. You gotta be quiet. It's nothing like what the TV has. It's nothing like it. But you can't really get that in a TV show. You can't get the real experience on a TV show, on a film. You can't. They're cool. The shows are amazing, but being there, it's not. It's way different. Just like, you know,
starting. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, as I say, like if you're on a game show, how you can yell out all the answers at the TV, but once you're on that stage, it's kind of like that.
I think starting 5-10 years ago. Not starting, because I've been sleeping in graveyards in Lisbon, Maine, where Stephen King went to high school since I was fucking 9, back in the early 90s. But really getting into ghost hunting, which started with Ghostbusters, of course. Seeing ghost hunters, the Roto-Rooter dudes from Philadelphia, or Rhode Island, I'm sorry, excuse me. And then seeing Zach Baggins come in, and I reached right away at Hollywood. I said, oh man, I'm like, this dude's like saturating the field. And I'm not trying, and if people want to do that, if you want to have all these bells and buzzers and you want to go out there doing that, I'm not going to knock you, because I'm trying to better myself as a person and not down people. Even if I feel like it's just, I wouldn't work with them, is my thing. I respect what Zach has got. I know he's got Ed Gein's pot, you know, and he's got all this stuff. And
you tell me that man doesn't have attachments, though. You tell me that man's not having some.
Well, the thing is, I feel like he plays along, and I feel like he's your typical, what's that? Whoa, you zoom in the camera. He's in it to make a buck. Let's face it, he's in it to sell his own cologne. He's going to have a brand of shirts or sneakers soon.
He must sell clothes. He's got to sell his own clothes.
I just want to help people. I want to find out at 9 years old where I saw my grandfather's spirit. I want to find out when I got in a head-on collision and died for 3 minutes this past May, while my mom told me to get out of the car. I want to find out when I die, is my soul going to go to hell, heaven? Is there such a thing? I want to find out this stuff. I don't need ratings and my face on paranormal fucking TV shows on Discovery Channel. All that's well and good, and I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm in this. Me and Heather got home cases going on of people that are scared to death, and we're not publicizing about it because you don't publicize about home cases. That's why we like Nesper. Am I right, Heather?
That's right. Yeah.
Sure, it's fun to go to these big places that are popular in the Conjuring House and Lizzie Borden. We love Lizzie. But enough's enough. There's so many things out there. I've been to the Bonnie and Clyde shootout site. I've been to where the first train robbery ever was. Jesse James, you know, he robbed a train in Admire, fucking Iowa? Because I do. I've been there. There's things you got to do. Heather hates when I do that. I'm sorry. But it's true. It's true, though. If people paid attention more and gave a shit more, and then less about TikTok videos and reality TV and fucking Pawn Stars. Like I said, we're guilty. We love our wrestling. But when you really, really give a shit and really want to try, there are so many great things in your town. There's so many great things in your state, in your town, in your country. Am I right?
Absolutely. Every town. Like I love how you said, like, I guarantee it. There, unless literally you founded your town within 20 years, then your town's got history and you're a part of that. And you should definitely look into it, because
I think so.
You never know what you're going to find. You never know.
But people are probably wondering, like, how do these guys get this show? Like, I didn't pay a dime. I didn't kiss Ross's ass and go, hey, man, I'd really like to be on your TV show and so your radio show. No, I didn't. If those of you that did, I'm sorry to make fun of you, but I'm sorry that's the wrong way. Ross hit me up, said, you talk good. You know your shit. I trust you. And I said, well, guess what? I have a great partner in Heather who knows her shit, and I'm going to get nothing but good guests. I don't care if you've been on a paranormal team for 35 years. If you got to have the right shit to be on the show. I want to talk to people who know what's going on. We're going to change the system here. We're going to be modest. We're going to be honest, and we're going to bring up history. We're going to bring up things that no one knows. Heather, talk about where we spent Christmas. Oh, we got to go. It's 9:00. Shit.
We can continue on in another week.
Wow, that was quick. That was great. Admiral Perry Inn in Freiburg. Yeah, that was great. I went on a fun
Guys,
rant.
thank you so much for tuning in. And this was our first show, so like, amazing.
Amazing. She'll be back as my co-host or as another guest. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I went off on a rant. I'm just very passionate. Heather, thank you for being my guest. Where can we find you? Historically Haunted Paranormal on Facebook?
Historically Haunted Paranormal Facebook, #WITCHEN.
Awesome.
Or Heather Caminiti on Facebook.
Beautiful. Beautiful soul, beautiful face, beautiful person. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Ross, for having me. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you, Paranormal King Radio Network. I'm Adam for Historically Haunted Show. Have a great night, everybody. God bless. Take care. Hello, this is Adam Began, and I'm the host of Historically Haunted Show, where I talk about some very rare historical and haunted locations that I visited. I also interview some of the very best in the paranormal and cryptozoology field. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paranormal King Radio Network. And prepare to be educated about the unknown.